Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. The recitation for the day, Maj Mahalla Tija. Amrit Varsay Sahaj Subhai, Gurmukh Virala Koi Jan Pai. Amrit Pi Sada Tripatase, Kar Kirpa Trishna Bujhavaniya. Havari Jio Vari, Gurmukh Amrit Piyavaniya. Rasna Ras Chak Sada Rahe Rangarati, Sahje Har Gun Gavaniya Rahao. Gur Prasadi Sahaj Ko Paye, Dubda Mare Ekas Syon Levelai, Nadar Kare Ta Har Gun Gave, Nadri Sach Samavaniya. सबना ऊपर नदर प्रभ तेरी, किसे थोड़ी किसे है घनेरी. तुझते बाहर कछु न होवे, गुरमुख सोजी पावनिया. गुरमुख तत् है बिचारा, अमृत परे तेरे भंडारा. बिन सतगुर सेवै कोई न पावै, गुर कृपा ते पावनिया. सतगुर सेवै सो जन सो है, अमृत नाम अंतर मन मोह है. अमृत मन तन बाणी रत्ता, अमृत सहज सुनावणिया. मन मुख भूला दूजे भाए खुआए, नाम न लेवै मरे बिख खाए. अंदन सदा विष्टा में वासा, बिन सेवा जन्म गवावणिया. अमृत पीवै जिसनु आप पियाए, गुर प्रसादी सहज लिवलाए. पूरन पूर रहा सब आपे, गुरमत नदरी आवणिया. आपे आप निरंजन सोई, जिन सिरजी तिन आपे गोई. नानक नाम समाल सदा तू, सहजे सच समावणिया. Composed in Rag Maj, composition of the third Nanak, Guru Amar Das. And he speaks about the rarity of those individuals who actually turn to the Guru. Rare is the individual, he says, who turns to Guru wisdom, Gurmukh Virla Koi Jan, and then finds by the eternal wisdom, which is Amrit. And this Amrit is raining quite naturally, Varsay Sahaj, and lovingly, Subhai. Amrit Varsay Sahaj Subhai. It is natural, it's constantly raining. This is the shower of grace. And it is through the benevolence of the enlightener, Kar Kirpa, that one drinks at the fount of wisdom, Amrit Pi, and in such a way is the fire of craving put out, Trishna Bujhavaniya, and fulfillment found, Sada Tripatase. And so here he touches on the method a little bit. How Vari Jio Vari Gurmukh Amrit Piyavaniya. He is bowled over. He salutes the Gurmukh who has indeed drunk at this fount of wisdom, and he touches on how this was done. Rasna ras chak sada rahe. Rasna ras chak sada rahe rang rati. Sahje har gun gavaniya. And we've attempted to translate this as the one whose tongue, rasna, sings, glorifies the qualities of the Har Self, Har Gun Gavaniya. So the one whose tongue sings the qualities of the Har Self, that tongue tastes the elixir of Naam, or self-knowledge. Chak, to chakhna, literally taste. We'll talk a little bit about the meaning of ras and chakhna, but here it is eliciting self-knowledge. The ras itself, the sap or the juice, is self-knowledge. Rasna ras chak sada rahe rangarati. and always lives in rahe, a natural state of mellow love. That is the meaning of rangarati. Rang here is used to denote divine love. Rati is that softening of the emotions, the liquefying, if you will, of hardened emotions so that they become receptive. And it is to that the Guru is offering his salutations over and over again. How vari jio vari, to that Gurmukh who indeed has brought himself to that stage of drinking or imbibing self-knowledge. And again, he repeats, rare is the individual on whom the Guru Enlightener's gift of Sahaj, or a natural state where we want to be, is conferred. That is grace that confers that state of Sahaj. And so when the Gurmukh is so graced, nadar kare, then the qualities, the excellences of the self are sung, contemplated upon, har gun gai. We do kirtan. That really is what this is pointing to. And then what happens is self-doubt is removed, dubida mare, and the mind is fixed on the self. That is the process that we go through. And then through grace, once we are receptive, through grace, absorption into the self or self-realization is made possible. The gift of Naam is then made when the mind becomes receptive. Sabna upar nadar prabh teri kise thodi kise hai ganeri. The point being made here is that your grace shines on everyone. Sabna upar. Some get less of it, some have more of it. But we receive it according to our own receptivity. So that's the condition. We have to be receptive in order to enlarge that experience. And then in the fourth section, Guru Amar Das touches on the nature of Gurmat and the nature of Gurbani. Gurmukh tat hai bichara, Amrit pare tere bandara, bin Satgur seve koi na pave, Gur kirpa te pamanaya. So obviously, without service to the true enlightener, no one can achieve self-knowledge. So that is very clear. It is received through the benevolence of Guru wisdom. The enlightener's teaching, bichara, is the essence of truth. That is what the enlightener teaches us, the essence of the self. And it is filled with revitalizing knowledge. Amrita pare is the treasure of your library, Bhandara. Bhandara means a warehouse. It also means a library. And because Gurbani is textual, we felt that translating it as library is perhaps more germane to this passage. So the fact of the matter is that Gurbani is the subject matter of the self, the essence of the self, which is the truth that we are all after. And Satguru Seve, so jan, so hai. Such a one, the one who serves the Guru, knows the self or gets to know the self. So hai. Because Amrit Naam antar man mohe. Self-knowledge, once you begin to imbibe, is transforming. It mesmerizes the mind. It changes the mind. But Amrit Mantan Bani Rata, you have to listen to the Bani, the words of the Guru, attentively. Sahaj Sunamaniya. Notice the different usages of the word Sahaj. Here it is with attention. Previously it was the final state that we wanted to be in. And then it was also natural ease, spontaneity. So context in how these words are used becomes exceedingly important if we are not to sort of lose our way. As the Manmukh has, Manmukh Pula, Duje Pai Khwai. So the self-centered meaning the one who's not initiated into the teachings of the Guru, is misled and goes astray. Manmukh pula duje pae khwaye, going astray, khwar hona. Has to sort of go round and round aimlessly or not finding the destination. And this happens because of duje pae. Duje pae, in very generic terms, can mean love of the other, that is, love of Maya. But I think in the specific context of this passage, duje pae could also be taken to mean that we go astray or we are misled when we fall for false ideas and practices that are not effective. And by not acknowledging or by forsaking self-knowledge. In other words, if self-knowledge is not important to you, then according to Gurmat, you've gone astray. Then you are mired in worthless activities. Bekhakai. The word is naam na leva, mara. You've died spiritually if you don't acknowledge the self, and you are essentially engaging in worthless, poisonous activities. And you live in impure thoughts. And the words are pretty strong here. And then sada vishtha mehvasa. Vishtha is excrement, meaning poisonous, stinking, dirty. You're living in an environment mentally that is undesirable, essentially, if you are not acknowledging the self. Self-defeating. Vishta. And so, if you do that, bin seva janam gavanya. The life opportunity is lost. It's wasted. So through the vision of Gurmat, Gur Prasadi Sahaj live lie. Puran pura reha sab ape Gurmat nadri avanaya. Through the vision of Gurmat is the perfection of the self. Puran ape is perceived and experienced everywhere. The Gurmukh perceives and senses the existence of the perfection of the self in everything, in every direction that he looks. So it is the benevolence of the Gur Enlightener that the mind of the Gurmukh becomes centered in. Live, it is called. And so the self within, it's being clarified here, ape aap niranjan soy, the self within is indeed the self that is unstained and transcendent, niranjan soy. So we are of that essence, of that unstained, stainless, immaculate essence. Ape aap niranjan soy. That one. Which one? Who creates and directs the universe. Jin sirji tin aap goi. We are of that essence. Nanak naam samal sadatu. So says Nanak, through self-knowledge, Nanak naam, through naam, self-knowledge, samal sadatu. Remove the stain. Become stainless. Samal. Samal means to be without mal. Bagair mal de. And mal is only of the ego. Sada samal, sahaje sach samavanaya. And with natural ease again, remain absorbed in the self, in such. So the reflection in this passage is rasana rasa chalk sada rahe rangarati. Sahaje har gun gavanaya requires a little bit of amplification. It is important to understand the nuance in the usage of some of these terms. So ras, for example, corresponds to taste, flavor, essence, juice in English, but conceptually the idea of rasa goes beyond just taste. It is really knowledge that is perceived through the rasana indri, the sensation of the tongue, which is located at the tongue, the sensation that is located at the tongue. So when the tongue tastes Gurbani, as in Kirtan, it triggers a process called Rangarati. What that does is, you have noticed this too, obviously, when you are in Kirtan, in Sangat, emotions arise and you feel yourself being filled up, as it were. Your eyes tear up, they well, because there is a filling up, there is a liquefaction of the hardened emotions that you have. You're suddenly soft, pliable, pejjana. That is Rangarati. You need to come into that state in order to have spiritual transformation. You have to get to that state of Rangarati. And Rangarati comes only when the Rasana sings Kirtan or recites Gurbani. On that note, until the next time, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.